Good Tuesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and SUVs and motorcycles, dogs, cars. You guys said that already? Wow. Oh my gosh, what a morning. When I get out of bed this morning, I'm just like, man, I've been living on the road every day. You live behind the wheel of a car every day and truck. You're driving hundreds of miles. It just wears you out. Yeah, I want to get out of bed this morning? No. But I got so much stuff to do. But hey, good morning there, everybody. Appreciate everybody showing up and watching my channel and commenting and supporting it. And wow, found my Harley hat. Is it on crooked? Like just as crooked as I am as I talk out of the left side of my mouth. Is that what politicians do? Yeah, look at this area. Beautiful. It's just a beautiful area up here this time of year. Change of season. We do have the overcast today, which is light misting. Nothing radical. Change of season is upon us, which just is incredible. Just incredible how the year is passing us by. Here's the home. I moved in this home September of 1991. That's hard for me to believe that it's 32 years ago that I moved into this house. And what it looks like today compared to what it used to look like, not even close to what all the work I've done to it. But this has been my home for 32 years, the longest I ever lived anywhere. Grew up with a father that was transferred about every 2-3 years. So I lived all over the country growing up, and we didn't really have a home per se to say where we came from because we just moved all over the country from my dad working for AT&T and being an executive that required him to take on different roles and tasks, and we always had to move. Very challenging, especially as we got into our high school years. And that was just challenging. So there's the home. So this is a house that I've lived in, bought it, never looked at this house as a place to buy it and sell it and make a bunch of money per se. I always just wanted this to be my home, and I've been blessed because I'm able to work out of this property with my company and business. And you can't do that just everywhere per se in certain areas and jurisdictions. So wow, so you hear the word home. I thought, what could be the theme today? The theme could be home. How about we talk about our home life, and what's the word? I'm glad to be home. We're going to bring it home. My car's a new home. Look at here. So I'm getting creative on people that want to take home, steal my my pride and joy. There's this car here kind of blocked in, which that'd be challenging to get it out of there. Then the Gold Rush is over there in the trailer, which I'd be challenging to get it out per se without a major project. And here's another vehicle that is in here that people want to take home illegally, and got a few vehicles blocking that in, so I'd be a little bit challenged. Not saying people can't take what they want by being just forceful and very mean. I mean, everything is insured. I mean, sincerely, it's all insured. And for me, am I gonna kill somebody to take my car? Nope, I'm not doing that because it ain't worth it. It's just a material object. I mean, it's ridiculous, really, how people have turned into material things to kill each other. It's just really sad because there'll always be something bigger and badder ass down the road. That's just the way we are. So yeah, so the home, this is my caveman shop, you could say. If you look around, you see all my toys. And yeah, you probably see the Harley hat. Harley Davidson, which that is my, that's what took me to the Bagger Bikes. I mean, Harley Davidson really is the company that had me become the Bagger Bike guy, even though so many years ago, and I told you I'd never own a Harley. But now I'm a Harley guy, and am I going to get a breakout? I'd like to. I don't know if we can make the numbers work or not. In the bikes, I always like to show at my shop because it's just really my addictions, as you can see. I just like to have all the different rides, but for the most part, without the kid, I wouldn't have as many bikes because that's the daughter's bike, the Roll Rider ST. That's her motorcycle. It's not mine. I'm not going to be riding that bike. It doesn't have the right riding position for me. But yeah, the CVO Road Glide, yeah, that's my bike. The Indian Pursuit over here, yes, that is my bike. Need to get it down, get the tire replaced. Street Bob, no, that's the daughter's. Honda Fury, yeah, I bought that thing just to figure have a little fun with it. The banana. The Honda CB650 here, this is the kid's bike. Over here, here's the Harley Davidson Road Glide CVO. That's my bike. Here's the Honda Goldwing Yeah, that's my bike. Turn around here, and Chief Bobber, yeah, that's my bike. And then the daughter, the Sport Chief, is her bike. So you could just take away 1, 2, 3, 4 motorcycles out of his collection. It wasn't for my daughter kind of riding with me, but I'd still have a lot of bikes, and I have an Indian Challenger Elite out there in the trailer still that's got a dead battery. So I've got a project. Part of me says I'm just going to load up both those Indians and just take them to the dealer. Have them freaking replace the damn battery. I need to have a service done on the Indian Challenger too, which I can do all that. But part of me like, yeah, geez, why don't you just take the bikes down there and have them do the wheel, tire, I should say the tire replacement, and have them do the Challenger. But that'll be probably later in the week. And then on this Street Bob, which the deal really would be better in Tennessee because I have add-ons on that motorcycle right there. They're worth $2,000 that need to come back to me. And then the Street Glide, I used to have a red Street Glide sitting in here that I traded for the Fast Johnny. That bike was bought down there at Wrecking Crew, Hurling, Johnson City, Tennessee. I bought that, the Street Bob, and the Street Glide on a Friday, Saturday. And between those two motorcycles, there's $4,000 worth of, upfit or whatever you want to call it, extended warranty, whatever else it is. So I got $4,000 to use towards offsetting the depreciation of that Street Bob. These Street Bobs are in terrible shape. I trade your Street Bob in, it's worth $10K. So that $20,000 motorcycle 1 year later, trade value is $10K. So I need that $4,000 because so basically the bike's worth $14K in some ways down there, which helps offset the stupid low values. So, and Black Denim's a really cool bike. If you're watching the channel, you know what I'm talking about. Here, we're going to get upstairs. And are the dogs here waiting for the daddy to get in here? They are. Let's get up here and get the day going on the home conversations. And, it's funny. The home conversations, that conversation, I'm in the office. Got to get the kid to help clean it up because that dog, Kiefer boy, he just likes to shred everything. Eat this, eat that. Ah, jeez, I tell you. I'm trying to get going this morning. I'm moving a little slow. Running a little late. Just because it's every day. I'm living in a vehicle. Oh my gosh. And today, same thing. Day in, day out. I go, all these cars, right? Yeah, but I mean, I'm not embellishing when I tell you I go 50 to 70,000 miles a year. And if you got one car, not that a car can't do that, but I've got another person working for me named my daughter now. And now, realistically, she's going conservative 30, 40,000 miles a year. So between just two vehicles to run my company, you're talking, 100,000 miles a year. Yeah, so I mean, for some people, like, you have all those cars. Okay, well, let me just have two cars, and it's not like today's cars, but what the oil change interval is going to be, tire rotation is going to be. I mean, it's going to be just never-ending, constant. Then for me, my challenge is I just get bored of vehicles. I want something different. That's just who I am. I just like, I'm sick of driving this damn thing. I want to drive something else. I was driving a Ford Bronco yesterday, and that is such a cool vehicle. And I had a guy roll up in a Jeep. I so wish a guy in a Jeep 392 would pull up next to me in that Bronco Raptor. I mean, I know I'm not going to take him, but I would just like to see, how radical it is. I mean, is it a separation? I mean, give me an example. Yesterday, I had a guy ride my butt in a customized Jeep Gladiator. And it's like, and this guy, he just knows. This guy's like, yeah, I'm gonna take this guy in the freaking, Raptor. And I'm like, you're not gonna take the Raptor. I have the Gladiator. I know which power thing has. So we come out of the toll booth gates, and I mean, this guy's riding my ass. And I just know he wants to show that he can overtake my Bronco. So I just nail it. I mean, I nail it. This guy. I mean, I already know this, though, because I have a Jeep Gladiator. I've run that thing. I know the power it doesn't have. It doesn't have any power. And so, this guy's, it's not even, this guy's way, 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 way not even close. But the whole point is, I'd love to run a guy on a Wrangler 392 because I know it's going to beat me, but on a roll. So that's where it's a little different sometimes. So at 30 miles an hour coming out of a toll gate, 30, 35, 40, whatever it may be, what is it then? Right off the line, yeah, I think the 392 just has so much more torque and power, but they've raced them, and it's nothing there. So, the car addictions, the car running up another. I'll tell you what, though, this area here, it's not good. The police are riding around in Nissan Altimas. They're riding around in Kias, the undercover cops. This area is so bad with the aggressive driving and the incredibly fast driving that, it's crazy that now, if you think you're going down the road and you go by this guy in a Kia or just a really plain Jeep Cherokee, you just think that ain't, you go flying by him at 90, 100 miles an hour. Guess what? The lights are coming on. They're going to come get you. I'm witnessing it. This area, I've never seen it like this. I've seen the Chevy Camaros, the Mustangs, even the Challengers, the Chargers. But to now start seeing these foreign cars that you'd have no clue that this is an undercover cop. Wow. Yeah, this area is happening because the driving habits have gotten so bad. So, yeah, so anyways, what spurred my home thought was I rarely watch a lot of TV, but at the same time, what anymore? Who wants to watch TV? Who wants to watch the news? Who wants to watch even the sports? It's just, oh my gosh, it's just sickening. It's the brainwashing. It's just really bad. Look at Taylor Swift and Kelsey or whatever this guy is for Kansas City. It's just, what the propaganda machine of those two now. It's like, yeah, oh boy, and people are like, how long is that going to last, right? How long is that going to last? So anyways, the All in the Family, was it the All in the Family with the good old Archie and Edith and Meathead? Good Lord! If you watch those shows, it was a show, a skit, it was a series. Anybody out there, All in the Family, and if you ever know the series from back in the 70s, oh my gosh, it was just a really kind of like, sad story about how Archie borderline fooled around on Edith and how she was so always confident that Archie was her home. And that was her life. It was her home. And I was just like, wow. That really, it's just kind of like, wow, that just is so true. And how we all have a home. We can only hope that we all have a home. And, it's so powerful. And at the same time, it can be, it can go both ways. That your home environment can be a very good environment or it can be a very destructive environment. And we know there's both stories. So many people that run away from home because it's such a destructive environment or whatever it may be. There's so many variables in that. But the thing is, for all of us, we all want to have a place to go and to feel good about our environment. Feel confident, safe. And you want a relationship with your family or your spouse, your mother, father, your mother, and your brother and sister, or whatever it may be. And I just think, wow, the home for us, the home front, that's the biggest foundation of everything that I think truly makes who you are. Because if everybody here knows that the people are homeless, you meet a foster care young person, a young child that came from a broken home. You just like instantly you hear these stories or you meet these people, that this is so challenging for that young person to develop, hopefully, into being, a strong-willed, well-disciplined, well-behaved, and successful individual because of the home life they didn't have. And for me, I've been very fortunate because I came from a very, very solid home, which had God in it, religion in it, and a mother and father. And my mother and father weren't alcoholics or drug abusers or just, they didn't have these things that you just don't even want to even fathom, is that you hear the stories of these horrendous situations that young people are in with a bad parent. The abuse physically, mentally. I mean, it's just really bad. So for me, I was blessed to be brought up in a family with a very strong mother and father. They were strong-willed that didn't resort to physical violence or any type of drugs or alcohol abuse that would then had an impact on me and my brother and my sisters and so yeah. So for me, that's that all in the family, that skit with Archie Bunker and Edith. It just made me think that how fragile we all are to our own home environment. And then you see the Maui or whatever, the Hawaii, the devastation of all those homes. Until you've lost your home, you just have no idea. I mean, people from hurricanes and tornadoes, fires, earthquakes. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And that's what even for me, I had my own home here back in 2000. The home, when we were going on vacation to Florida, the home had some backdraft in the chimney of my oil furnace, and it smoked the whole house and covered the whole house in unburnt fuel. So the whole house was not livable. So now I had to rent a RV to live in my house, live outside my house here, while they had to go in and just gut the whole house out. It wasn't as big as it is today. It was a lot smaller. And get it all back in order for us to be able to live in it. But that was just such a very depressing time. Anybody here that's lost their home, or for anybody that's had financial hardships and has lost their home and been forced to live in, an apartment or whatever it may be, or go move back in with your family or mother or father. I mean, who hasn't had this happen? I mean, it's just a life-changing event and it takes the confidence away from you. It just takes your well-being. And I think that we all take for granted so many times the home life we have. And sadly, we're witnessing more than ever what's going on in our country. But here's the thing. What's the true home of Harley? It's Milwaukee, right? And that's kind of where the Harley Davidson product came from. I think of all the neat things that are the cars and motorcycles that came from the true beginnings of our homeland. It's right here in our country. Some of the baddest ass vehicles and motorcycles that all came from here. It didn't come from Europe, came stateside. And so, I mean, look at the Indians, Springfield, Massachusetts. That's where its original origins are from. Once again, Harley Davidson, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The original origins of where it came from. Look at Detroit. Here's the UAW. That's the home of the big three. You've got Ford, who came from that's Ford, General Motors, Dodge, the Dodge brothers. And it's interesting that the Dodge brothers had a lot of money invested in Ford back in the early days, and they were very concerned about the direction of the company's going, and even to the point that they sold a lot of their stock to kind of do a little bit of a kick in the face to Mr. Ford. There's a lot of deep stories of how that all played out with Dodge and then the General Motors and Chrysler. But the whole thing is the home to the big auto is up there in that Michigan, Detroit area. And it's just incredible how you think, why did they pick that area? But it's all the infrastructure of the industrialization of the beginning of the country of the 1800s. So the steel. It's interesting how the steel. I was talking a lot about the U.S. Steel being bought out, being sold, but that's kind of disappeared off the radar screen. What happened to that conversation? Of U.S. Steel being the dominant. It's interesting actually here that I bring that up is here something, and you don't know what to believe. So I was talking a while back about how Ford buddied up with the Chinese, the cattle, China, Amprex, whatever. The China company that's building those batteries. And those guys are supposed to build a huge plant up there in Michigan. And a lot of lawmakers are really calling out Ford for buddying up with China. So apparently Ford has put on hold that big mega factory is supposed to be built up in Michigan right now. because so many lawmakers are really saying that they just feel it's so wrong that Ford is toe heeling to China to give it even more world dominance of the battery manufacturing. So that's on hold. And then Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, they have actually supposedly put this semiconductor factory out there in Arizona. I was talking about it here the other week about the union out there not wanting the Taiwan individuals to come over and help them build it. Apparently, they put that on hold now. They're not happy. Their comment is they can't find the right people to build the factory. So that's been put on hold. And there's another factory that Ford has got $9.5 billion from this Inflation Reduction Act bill. That's the home of you and I's taxpayers' dollars, and that's going to be a South Korea venture. I'm trying to think who it is, LG or whatever like that. They're going to put a big ass factory down there, like in Tennessee or whatever. But here's what's interesting: is it seems like some of these companies are kind of starting to pull back a little bit. And things are kind of maybe slowing down a little bit. I really do think that a lot of companies with this Inflation Reduction Act pushing this green agenda at the fastest pace ever in modern times, I think that a lot of these our country, home-based companies are starting to maybe trying to reevaluate what this is really going to play out to be. And the biggest thing is, I think a lot of these manufacturers are starting to think that who's going to be able to work at these factories? Who's going to be the people that show up for the infrastructure of this country? It just doesn't have that type of infrastructure like it is overseas to be competitive. And that's the whole UAW thing. That's a real big argument, is so many feel that the UAW is going to price out the big three in the world competition for electric batteries, for electric cars and solar panels. But I should say UAW is more about the car side of it, but it sets a precedent for many other industries. Because if you're trying to hire a guy, and then he hears that every union guy that's working on the assembly line or the parts distribution place is making $68 an hour, making $150,000 a year, how are you going to lure this guy to your business where you're going to tell him he's going to make $80,000 a year or even $100,000 a year? And those guys are maybe get a 4-day work week. There's a lot of talk out there that certain companies are mastering the 4-day work week. When I first got going in my career, first thing I noticed when I kind of got more into the corporate side and big business side, walking in and out of doors, making sales calls, interacting with people, my instinct, my gut instinct was, this is such a waste of time of a day. People waste half their day doing nothing. People socialize at the bathroom, the coffee. Who doesn't know these stories? That it's just hours and hours. And so they're now starting to show data that some companies are having more success of more work being completed in a 32-hour work week than what was a 40-hour work week. Here's the incentive. If you can get all your work knocked out within X amount of time and X amount of days, then you don't need to show up. For me, my company policy has always been, for the people who work for me, you go out and do your work. When your work is done, you go home. There's just so many people run companies where, you show up at 8 o'clock and you're not leaving until 5 o'clock because I'm going to pay you an hourly pay. Screw that. I just pay somebody's salary. Screw that. Go do your work. Get all your tasks done. When you're done, you go home. You don't come back here and sit in my office all day to just kill time, just to ride the clock. Yeah, so where's the home? And that's the whole thing. What's the goal of people at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and get off work? They want to drive home as fast as possible. Who drives the 8 to 5 traffic? You know that story. So people are wanting to get home. Why do they want to get home? Because they're hungry. Why when they get home, they may be tired. They may have an activity to be doing to get home. They may work out at their house. They may have bicycle. Who knows? They may be a youth coach. I used to do that. They may have church activities. And the list goes on and on and on. So a person wants to get out of work and go home because they want to go do other things in their life besides be sitting there working at this job where you're just twirling your thumbs for nothing. But it's just the principle and the policy of the company that you have to sit there from 8 to 5. Oh my gosh. With a worst throw up material. And that's why so many people are fighting They don't want to go back to the work, and they want to be remotely working because they feel so much more like they're accomplishing so much more work tasks by being at home, and they're not under this stupid policy of just having to show up to work to show your face when they're doing the exact same thing behind a computer in an office versus what they can do at home. And yeah, I know there's a lot of variables to that. I've talked in great length on that, but it seems that this remote working is a growing trend, and it's not going to, I don't think it's going to get smaller. I think it's going to get bigger. I think some companies will get a little more stricter on their policies. And yeah, you may have to show up a few days a week, but whatever. So, but what was that? The pandemic was the biggest the home productivity ever in modern times. Think that through. We just went through the biggest productivity of being at home and accomplishing things more than ever in our lifetime or in the history of this country. But yet there's so many people that are now pounding their fists that you have to go back to work. And the people that are, whether you realize it or not, you have to think it through. If you're a real estate owner of commercial properties, you hate this remote working. If you're the tax man that's got tax revenues that are being shorted, you hate this remote working. If you own the gas station or the small deli or the little, the cool arts and crafts or whatever, whatever it may be that you have a business that's surrounded these commercial buildings that relied on the people coming to work every day that kept your business healthy, you hate remote working. If you are the parking garage individuals, I have a personal friend that married into the family that had PMI, I think it was, like parking management, whatever, of the DC, Philadelphia, New York area. And that family went bankrupt during the pandemic because all of the people that came to park their cars, these parking garages, garage or not, these parking garages, these managements, this is a family-run business that's been around for probably 50 plus years at least, that rented space from buildings, and then they managed the parking, and that's how they made their money. Well, when everybody was forced to stay at home, and then the whole remote working thing continued, that destroyed that whole business model. I mean, if you think it through, go by the metros out here where I live. You go by these metro stations and all. These places are empty. They're empty. Now, I can't say that as much as maybe in the heavier, densely populated area, but anymore. Like where I live now, if you want to ride the metro into D.C., you would get on the metro in Ashburn, Virginia. So the first thing is for you have to leave your home, my house, and you're 30 minutes pretty much to the metro station. Now, if you just stayed in your car and continued driving, you're probably another at least 45 minutes to get into the office to go to D.C. So, yeah, it's going to be an hour and 15, hour and a half minute drive with traffic, probably. But that's going to change because of the remote working. So I'm not even sure if that's even that radical as much. But if you want to stop at the metro station and then board the metro and ride it to D.C., you're at least another hour, at least, of the metro having to go through all the stops to get to D.C. And then anymore, you witness all these crazies on these metro, and you're now, this metro where I live, it's going to be Spartan. You're not going to have many people on this train. It's going to be, you may be 2 people in each area, 2 or 3, maybe 10, I don't know. It isn't that, when I drive down the road, I see these metros going by me as I'm driving down the road. Yeah, I can count the people on these trains, and it isn't many. So, but I'm not there at 7:30 in the morning doing it. But the whole point is, for you being at home, your life is so much happier. I think people are happier being at home, remotely working, and it's changed so much in the infrastructure of everything around us. Hey, it's made Amazon and UPS more money because of all the people remotely working and people having packages delivered to their homes. That's the thing I was talking about yesterday is under this Joe Biden administration, there's so many things that have happened that in some ways have enriched so many people and change of lifestyle that I can just see that somebody be like, yeah, this is great. I love this. But at the same time, I think so many other would say, yeah, to own a home anymore is extremely expensive. To rent a home is extremely expensive. To rent an apartment is extremely expensive. That's the biggest challenge is now is in front of us is how everything's gotten so expensive. And the economists are saying that this is coming to an end. We've heard this so many times. I mean, it's just incredible how the media machine, the YouTubers, they continue to preach how it's going to come to an end. It's going to come to an end. That everybody's going to go broke. Everybody's going to run out of money. I don't know. I mean, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, when you think the basics of life, of what we do every day, I mean, every day people get out of bed, go to work, and continue to do their jobs, their tasks, and goods and services are still being exchanged, and people are still having to go buy gas and buy food, and people still like to go out to a restaurant. I mean, I just don't understand on how everything's going to come to a grinding halt, and everybody's going to go broke. And I have access through the Washington Business Journal, a local paper. It's nationwide, but it caters to each city. And it shows everybody's going broke. All the companies filing Chapter 7, Chapter 11, Chapter 13. There's not much of that going on. I mean, there's just not much of any companies per se of going broke in this area. I mean, does anybody have any stories of just multiple businesses going out of business around your area just here in the last few months, 6 months? Your neighbor's house been foreclosed on, all his cars are repoed. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing a lot of houses for sale either. And it just doesn't, just what sit at home, right? Just stay home. But here's the thing. The challenge for us is we're witnessing the biggest home invasion of modern times of all these immigrants, illegals coming to our country. And wow. I mean, to me, that's disturbing. When you see Eric Adams talking about housing 57,000 illegal immigrants in hotels, that's going to cost like $12 billion in taxpayers' money to put these people in hotels. I mean, there you go. There's where I say the hotel owners, these guys could be happy as could be to a degree. They're getting this guaranteed money. And, I mean, they're getting all this. I mean, think about it. For these hotels, you're getting this guaranteed government money but at the same time, to me, it's a lot of riffraff. There's a lot more going on with that than you realize. But at the same time, we're living now in a country where we're having the biggest home invasion ever. And what is the long-term impact for so many of us that, I mean, to me, it's not comforting. I just feel like the riffraff is going to grow. And I think the lawless society, especially these New York City. Does anybody really feel like New York City's going to go in the right direction? I think New York City's going to be like San Francisco. I think some of these cities are just going to be destroyed. I think it's going to be bad. I mean, who knows? I got a pea-sized brain. I'm sure some people will be like, nah, that city's so big. It'll be just a portion of the city and no way. I don't know. I mean, anymore. And then for us, think about all the homeless people in Ukraine. Think about all the people who lost their homes and life in Ukraine. That Ukraine war. Now we get the Abram tanks over there. Now we just gave them our Abram tanks. I mean, aren't we in war with Russia? I mean, for the most part, it wasn't Lindsey Graham talking about how we're using the Ukrainians to fight the war for us for Russia. I mean, this is, wow. Who is running this show? And that's the thing. The home is the foundation of who we all are, for the better or for the worse, and more than ever, the homeland of our country. I mean, don't you just feel like it's being ruined more than ever? I truly feel like more than ever, this country's homeland is being ruined. And it's being ruined by select individuals that actually want to see it get ruined. Yes, and it sounds radical, but no. I mean, there are radical people in this world that gain power. And I think more than ever, they're in power right now. And their goal is to ruin the homeland of this country. And it's really more about getting rid of what I look like. That's where we are in today's society, sadly, is I look like that I've been privileged, I've been enriched, Everything's been handed to me because I look a certain way. I've had no hardships. I haven't lost everything a few times in my life. Yeah, everything's been perfect. Everything's, I mean, it's just so bad. It is so bad what the media machine that we are around and what we witness. And I know this morning, not a lot about the cars and trucks and stuff. I just thought that more talking about the home is just a more important conversation because I think we're all witnessing that what's the foundation of our country is being undermined more than ever. And it's the home. And so many people feel like the government's truly wanting to overtake home ownership, and Big Brother, big business wants to overtake home ownership where you never own anything. I mean, there's so many, conspiracy theories and this theory and that. Oh my gosh. And where's Russell Brand going to call? What's home to Russell Brand now? I'm hearing Rumble maybe kicking him off Rumble, if you know who Russell Brand is. And apparently a lot of people are just, taking the immediate hammer and saying he's no good and blah, 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 blah. And apparently he went to Rumble, but now you're reading things on Twitter, it's X with Elon Musk, and you're seeing that he may be getting called out on Rumble, which Rumble apparently is pretty loose social media app. I signed up on it, so I go on it not much. Yeah, you get any social media things, it's just it's the worst. I mean, you see so much bad stuff. It really is. But that's what people do all day. They just live in these things, and it's just wow, yeah, unbelievable. Anyways, that's it. I'm gonna wrap it up. I got a home to take care of. You can get deep and heavy, and as always, I just enjoy sharing my views and ideas and thoughts. And how can we be better at taking better care of our home? And when is somebody going to show up and just stop the craziness in our country? But it's going to be so challenging because the media machine is going to brainwash so many people to feel that one view versus another view is the right view. And that's the challenge. I mean, that's the challenge of society we live in more than ever. It's been going on for ages. Propaganda is nothing new. But more than ever, we live in a society that everybody has this little device in their hand, and everybody can watch a 3-second, 5-second, 10-second little blip of words that come out of some person's mouth, and they feel like that's the gossip, and they don't even dig deeper to what really is going on. That's the problem. Everybody instantaneously comes to closure of what they feel is right versus wrong. Wow. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for watching. What are you doing now? I got a really busy day. It'd be pretty cool to see if I can get that Street Bob deal to go to a breakout deal. That'd be pretty cool. But I don't think that ain't happening today. Does it happen maybe this week? I don't know. Debatable. And so we'll see how things play out with that. Anyways, great to have people watch my channel. Appreciate those that really do support me. And it's not easy being on the other side of this camera here, but I really do appreciate those that continue to like my channel and make nice comments. So thank you very much. And if you listen to my conversations sometimes, you may get rewarded. I think a guy's going to get rewarded that's in the military. And I'll share more information with you on that as time progresses and I have time to do a little project that I have that you'll be witnessing. And I think it's pretty cool. So stay tuned for one of those videos, and God bless, stay safe, have a great day. And if you want a sticker, if you want an Ice Age TV sticker, just email me. Another gentleman just reached out, and I've got his sticker and envelope to mail out today. So just Ice Age TV comments at gmail.com, and I'll mail you one. Have a great day. God bless, stay safe. I gotta go to work.